Hey y'all, in this tutorial I'm going to be doing another fall inspired set, but what I really want to go over is the powders that I'm using. I'm going to be using GlamandGlits, and if you've ever used them, you know they have a whole variety of different colors, but sometimes those powders can be hard to work with. So in this set, I have one of those powders, and I'm going to just show you guys how I work with that. So to start off on the ring finger, I'm taking my YoungNails Cover Rosebud, I believe. I'm not sure, but I'm going to leave it in the description. But I'm just starting off, and I'm going to apply a bead, and then I'm going to come in with my X-Acto knife and just cut out that triangle shape. Now, I could just, apply this and kind of form it into that shape, but just using the X-Acto knife will give you a sharper edge and kind of just basically make it easier for you. So once I have that cut out, I'm going to go in and make sure that I'm cleaning it up and I'm not leaving any of that excess on the nail tip. Once I do that, I'm going to come in with my cuticle bead and I'm just going to apply that through the body. Now, once I do this, I'm going to let it dry, and then when it's dry, I will come back and just sharpen up those edges. So the color I'm using is called Keisha. It is a very deep, bright, vibrant, it's a beautiful red. It's a beautiful color. But as soon as you pick that color up, it just disperses as if you picked up a ton of liquid in your brush and then picked up a bead. So when you're working with powders like that, in order to combat that, what I do is I take my brush, I pick up a bead, and I drain the back of my brush out completely. Now, normally when you're draining out liquid, you would just maybe do it just a couple of seconds. But this one, I'm holding it down maybe like 30 seconds. I want to drain all of the liquid out of this bead. That's the only way you can work with it without it spreading everywhere. And even when I placed it onto the nail bed, I still kind of, let it sit there and start self-leveling because it is just so runny. And also I guess it has so much pigment in it because it stains like nobody's business. If you get this on the skin, you get it off immediately. Clean it off because it will stain your nails. So once it's in a workable state, that's when you can kind of start, moving it down the nail bed, getting it where you want it to be, and just tapping the product through. You don't want to do a lot of swiping with this or, blending. You want to just barely tap that product and get it to where you need it to be. Now, when it comes to the cuticle area, you better believe I got her finger pointed all the way down. I place that bead there and I barely tap it back into position. I'm talking about barely, y'all. I was like scared when I was doing the cuticle area because I was like, oh dear Lord, please don't flood into the cuticle area. Please don't get onto the skin. So I was being extra careful. Now, when it comes to powders, even in my classes, I tell them, every powder is different. It's going to work different. So you have to adjust everything you do, by the powders that you use. It all can be different. So when you come across powders like that, make adjustments. If it's a runny bead, take out the liquid from your brush. If it's dry beads, add more liquid. It's really that simple. You just have to make those adjustments and make sure that, you're being careful and thinking about it as you do it. Like, okay, well, I picked this bead up and it's runny, so I need to drain it out. So, and, once you do that, you'll be good to go. In my classes, I always say my pinky nail is like my beginner nail. So I start with that, and that's going to tell me how my sets are going to go, how the rest of the nails are going to go off, how I'm going to apply, how I'm going to pick up my beads, everything. So now that I have that hard part out the way, I have that color applied, I'm going to come back to my ring finger and I'm just going to sharpen the edge of that triangle shape. Now I'm going to jump over to the pinky and I'm just going to add some leaves for this nail. And I chose a clear nail because I just love the way nail art looks when it's on a clear nail. Anything that has any reflex to it, like glitter or these leaves, they have kind of the chameleon reflexes. So I love to use those on a clear nail. So once I have that placed, I'm going to fill it up as much as I can. And then I'm going to come in with some loose glitter and I'm just going to place my brush into clear, get me a bead of clear, and then I'm going to dip it into the glitter and then I'm just going to go straight on the nail and just apply it, in any areas that are empty. Once I do that, I'm going to come back to the ring finger and I'm going to use that same technique, pick up a bead of clear and then dip it into raw glitter and I'm going to fill in the remaining part of that French. I'm also going to use this same glitter on the pointer finger and it will be just a full nail of glitter. So once I have my application done, I went and I capped everything with clear and then I filed them into shape. So now I'm going to come through and I'm going to start on the pointer fingers and I'm going to add a 3D flower. So as you can see, I top coated it and I wiped off the tacky layer and then I went in and I just buffed where I'm going to add my diamonds, my crystals. So I'm just going to add those crystals and then I'll pop them in and of course cure them, and then that's when I'll start my 3D flower. And here lately, these side 3D flowers have been really popular. I have been doing a lot of flowers like these. And on my channel, I have done plenty of flowers. So I'm not going to bore you guys with me explaining how I do it. I just start out, you know, place my bead, let it set up, and then make my imprints. So after I finished with my flowers, I went and added a few crystals on the red nails. Then I top coated her and she was done. And if I forgot to mention, this set was inspired by a certain nail artist. I can't remember her name, but if I find her, I will put it in the description. And it is a very popular set. I have recreated this set since I've done this video. And the only thing we changed was the red color. So if you're not following me on Instagram, please do so, because I'm going to post that set there, and you can kind of just keep up with me and see what kind of sets I'm busting out through the week. But that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in another video.